Good morning all, time for another Postbag video, and this is why. Yes, my bin runneth over. Right, let's start with this one. It's a huge black bag, all sort of folded over, and the description is one screw. Well, it must be a very large one, so let's see what's in here. This could be a bit tricky, actually. That's interesting. Inside that big black bag was this little yellow envelope. Orange Connex with a whole list of all the bits that are inside, and it should all be nuts, bolts, and a little threaded offset thing. Well, let's just open it and see what we have. Oh, beautifully packaged. Yes, it's all this stuff. These little knurled nuts. Now, what I really wanted was little standoffs, but actually it's impossible to get brass standoffs in the size I wanted, so I went for these knurled nuts, which I think will work fine. And then we've got nuts, bolts, and oh, where are the nuts? There should be some nuts in here. I'm sure there should. Oh yeah, they were in there. Okay, so we got nuts, bolts. What are these? M5 by 16. I think 16's the length. And these standoffs, what are they for? Well, you can see that they're all brass because I wanted something that wouldn't rust, and these are to replace these on my battery bank. 6 lead acid gel batteries, and you can see that these nuts and bolts at the back have all gone a nasty shade of rusty. Well, mostly gone a nasty shade of rusty, and mostly, interestingly, on the positive. These ones down here on the negative side don't seem as bad. Now, is that some sort of electrochemical effect? Or is it just the fact that this makeshift lid is kind of lower down on the front, which sits over the negative rail, negative bus bar, and a bit higher up at the back? I'm undecided, but what I want to do is replace all these bolts and makeshift spacers, which I made out of washers and nuts, with brass and those little knurled nut spacers. But today's not the day for this. As you can see, it's all horrible and damp out here. There isn't a lot left of this piece of plywood, is there? I think that might need replacing. But while I'm out here, I might as well just check the PWM5 femto. Leaves on the solar panel there, but the femto looks like it's still happy. Yeah, that's still modulating away merrily. Excellent. Now, I hope I've got this right. Here's another one. There were 8 of these in total, so I keep 2 indoors. And the idea is that that will go through the little lug there, and that will tighten nice and tight on there. And then the aluminium strip goes in there. It's very tight. I should have gone for the longer bolts. Yeah, that's very tight. Maybe I'll put in an order for the next length up. These were 16mm, weren't they? So here's the item I am just about to buy, which is M5 by 20mm, 25 pieces. You can also have 5 pieces or 50 pieces. I really only want, well, what is it, 6 batteries times 2, 12 pieces, but 25 will have to do. That's $6.99 free shipping from Hardware Fasteners. When I bought the M5 by 16s, that would have been $4.99 free shipping. The nuts, M5 again, solid brass hexagon hex nut, 20 pieces, $1.99. And these knurled nuts, which are M5, 7mm outside diameter and 10mm length, 20 pieces, $2.99. Right, next up, a good old-fashioned yellow one. Let's see what's in here. Incidentally, this post bag has no electronics in it. No, it's all hardware. Deliberately choosing all hardware. Another bag. Okay. And inside here, drill bits. Now these are hex shank drills. There are 5 different sizes in here. The one I'm kind of particularly interested in is the very smallest one, the 2mm. Let me try and explain why. Remember that video about recharging the Tech 4 battery? Well, inside this electric drill driver, yes, there's another Tech 4 battery. And this is one of those tools I use a lot, mainly for things like just sort of drilling tiny holes in shelves, underside of shelves, things like that, for hanging my glasses and my, well, let me show you. Here on this shelf, it's one of these sort of melamine coated shelves. You can see I drill holes in the edge of this shelf regularly for things like these pipe clips on which I've got my new soldering iron, the TS100. Also mains leads, and you can see the screwing into the shelf there. Mains leads, scope, probe leads, the old soldering iron, well, all of that lot. And here on the underside of this shelf, you can see I hang my glasses there on these little hooks. I've got some of the croc clip leads there hanging on these hooks. So I drill holes up into this shelf, and I wanted to put some more hooks under here because there's nothing much here apart from my router. And so that's mostly what I use this little drill driver for. It's quite good. It's got 2 speeds for drilling and screw driving. It's got a little LED there to light up the work, but this only has a hex shank sort of quick release collet type thing, and I get through these 2mm drills quite fast because, well, they're not very strong and they do break easily, and you have to find these hex shank drills, which can be quite tricky. And so that's why I thought it'd be quite nice to have a hex shank drill where you can actually replace the bit. So let's give this a try. That's going to be 1/4 inch, isn't it? So that's 6.35mm. I can't find a 1/4 inch spanner, so I'm using an adjustable. This collet sort of thing appears to be 8mm. So let's try undoing that. And yeah, that comes undone. Yeah, and the drill comes out. Well, that's got to be a better solution than these hex shank drills, which when you break, you have to chuck the whole thing away. And recently I bought these, which is a bunch of, I think, 10 titanium coated, well, partly titanium coated 2mm drill bits. So yeah, I think that's better. And then how does this thing work? Let's have a look at the end. Well, it's just a sort of squeeze 3-prong collet. It's a little bit crudely cut, but as long as the drill bit is relatively well centered in there, I suppose it doesn't matter too much. So let's tighten this back up and put that in the drill and just see whether it runs true. Right, let's take that one out, put that one in. Now, how true does this rotate? Yeah, it's a little bit wobbly. Okay, let's try some of the bigger ones. Right, this is the 3.2mm, which has a giant collet on it, or sort of nut. Yeah, they're not entirely straight, are they? Let's try the 4mm. Perhaps they get better as they get bigger. Let's try the big one, which is a 6mm. Now, I did actually buy a second set of these because, oddly enough, when you buy them from China on eBay.com, for these, you pay more than buying them from China on ebay.co.uk. Strange, but true. Let's check the 2mm one of these. Right, this is the 2mm again. Yeah, a little bit eccentric, but I mean, it doesn't matter too much because there's sufficient play in all of this that once you get into the wood, Let's try it. Yeah, it kind of absorbs the wobble, and just for drilling the odd hole in a shelf to attach a hook or a bracket, I think these are good enough, and it just seems a better solution than the fixed bit. And I mean, if you look at the original hex shank drill bit, that moves around in all of this. And yeah, that wobbles too, so I mean, yeah, it's no different, is it? So here's the listing from ebay.com. 5 pieces 1/4 inch hex shank twist drill bit set 2 to 6 millimeters. Don't know what countersink means, they're not countersink. $6.99 those from Super X US. And these, which I think are identical, 5 pieces 1/4 inch hex shank set again, £3.50, which is US $4.60, but there is also 40p shipping, which is 53 cents. You do the math. KK318. Next up we have this one. This one was a little bit speculative. I wasn't entirely sure whether this would work. It's a set of nail files. Right, let's do a little reveal on this. There they are. Oh, and a rather cute sort of stand-up holder type thing. So yes, lots of different types of sort of ball and I don't know what you'd describe that as, cylindrical ended files, which are designed to obviously rotate, to be put in some sort of rotary. See, these are for women to polish their nails, but these look very aggressive for polishing nails. I think you'd tear your nails off with these, but yeah, lots of interesting different end shapes. Can you guess what I want these for? Well, I'm back out in the garden because it has to do with this thing again. My PWM5 Femto solar charge controller, which is modulating away nicely. Specifically these things. So let's take one of them indoors. So these things, of course, rust. But I don't want to just make new ones each year. I thought I could restore them. Now I can use a half round file to file in there and restore where these grip onto the battery terminals. But how do I restore inside these 4mm terminal sockets? How do I get inside there and take all the corrosion out? Yes, with my new nail file set. Right, this cylindrical one won't actually fit in there, it's just slightly too large. This sort of cylindrical one with a domed top fits in there actually very nicely. So work that in and out a few times while rotating it. I'd have to put that in my electric drill. Looks like a 2mm shank. Well, I suppose I could test that, couldn't I? Actually no, it looks slightly larger than 2mm. So what would that be? It's not 1/8 of an inch, is it? Because that's 3.2. Yeah, I wonder what the diameter of rotary nail files is. I've no idea. But also this little ball one would also work to go in there and sort of restore or remove the corrosion from in these terminals. Yeah, I'm going to give that a try. So this is the item, 10 pieces nail art, grinding drill bits, electric manicure, machine diamond bullet bit set. I took set 3. Set 1 has like little brushes and some files. Set 2 has all sorts of weird stuff, but set 3 was all files. So I thought that would be the best one. $4.89, free shipping from 2015. Fin deals or find eels. And let's just do one more quickly. This one's a meme. This one is a meme. It's LRF. Do you know what LRF is? I didn't, but I do now. It's little rubber feet. So yeah, 4 packs of 10 little rubber feet. Dimensions are 17 by 14, so larger diameter 17, smaller diameter 14. by 10. I think they're 10mm standoff. The hole in the middle looks a bit like 3mm or thereabouts. Yeah, those look quite nice. They're not terribly rubbery. Oh, I suppose they are. They do squeeze a bit. They're certainly not latex. I think they're some sort of plastic rubber. And these, of course, are for things like my Muppet breadboard, where you want feet on the bottom to help it stand off. I had to actually put washers behind these feet because the board is slightly warped to get them flat. So yeah, just more of these little rubber feet. They don't photograph very well because they're really black. Let's go straight to eBay. And yes, these are 10 pieces, 17 by 10mm round cabinet black rubber instrument case feet foot circular, or as I know them, LRF. $1.13 for 10 pieces. Oh, that's not bad, is it? Free shipping. I obviously bought 4 sets from Picturesque Landscape. And so these are today's kind of non-electronic but related to electronics hardware Postbag items. Big thanks, I want to say once again, to JLC PCB for their ongoing support of my channel. I've got another printed circuit board coming soon from them. Also big thanks, of course, to Patreon supporters. If you'd like to be a Patreon supporter, click this link here. Another couple of videos up here if you want to watch more of my stuff. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, click this link here to subscribe. Cheerio.